Hey everyone. Hope everyone's doing great today. I just wanted to come on here today to talk about a few things that have been on my mind. And one of them has to do with attachment styles, and the other has to do with control. So a lot of us are attracted to the opposite of us, right? Because there's something interesting in that. And when we're with somebody who's too much like us, there's not a lot of room for growth. It's comfort, it's great, it's fun when you can connect and read each other's minds basically and agree upon everything. But then there's something that still feels like it's missing. So a lot of people end up seeking out what they're actually supposed to, the parts of themselves and others that maybe they are ashamed of or they don't want to face. For some people, it's more of an attachment that comes from anxiety. They don't want conflict. Even if they've created it, they are quick to take accountability. Sometimes their accountability comes forward and it's not received because people don't believe that they're genuine when they are coming forward with that. Then there are cases where there are avoidant people. Again, this is nervous system, right? And if you don't know much about the nervous system, it's something that is really a helpful tool when you are trying to discover yourself, you're trying to reinvent yourself, and you're trying to adapt to an ever-changing world. I have been in relationships with both types of people, and I am definitely on the anxious attachment side. I don't like conflict. Even if I create it, I quickly beat myself up over it. I attempt to reach out, sometimes too fast and not let the dust settle. And I push people too hard at times, even myself. I've learned lately that I can't do that without burning out and completely being worthless. But if I can learn how to balance and rest, then I'm able to use that as a superpower. It helps me get things done in record time, and it helps me to organize my life in ways that I create the structure instead of waiting for some structure that I fall into. I also have had relationships, though, with people like me and people that are on the avoidant side. And being in a relationship with someone who's avoidant when you're anxious can be like the biggest game of tug of war if you don't sit and see each other. So for those who are anxious, they want to pull people along so fast that they don't stop and sit and actually see why the other person is taking their time and pacing things slower. And I've had to learn a lot the hard way with this, but recently I have actually come to a point with my current partner, Brian, where he is that type. And we've been trying to build something together, but because I was pushing so far ahead, he withdrew. He pulled back, and I just wanted to push him to get up and keep going and be with me and be with me and be with me until I finally was like, this isn't working. So one night I sat down and I just slowed myself down, and I asked him to really share what was on his mind and where his pacing was and why he does what he does. We both admitted to a lot of faults, which is amazing because in most relationships I've had in the past, I would have run from this, and he probably would have too. But one thing that's been great about him and I is that fights are part of any kind of relationship. Like, having a disagreement is normal. It's how you handle it. Does it get out of hand? Does it end up in a toxic battle? Does it end up in stonewalling? Does it end up in abuse? Or can you both take a pause and then reconvene together and actually see the beauty in your differences and then find that place where you can meet in the middle? So if he's somebody, or you're with somebody who needs more space, they seem to pull away, they might not reach out to you as often as you'd like, you're wondering what they're doing, they haven't texted you back, they sleep more, they are hard to get motivated, and you're the type that's like, let's go, I want to do things, let's make it better, like me, then it's really hard to slow down. But if you want them to meet you where you want them, that requires you to also sacrifice some of your speed, some of your ideas about how things need to be. And so when I sat with Brian, and I really did just sit with him to see him, I realized he has so many valuable things that I was speeding past and not really listening to. And so we've done some of the hardest work in my life I've never been able to do in an actual romantic partnership of any kind. And it helped me to understand that even in past relationships, I might not have seen somebody because it scared me to think that if I slowed down, I would lose control over everything that I had going. What I realized with this is, for me to slow down, I can actually get his insights. And now we've worked things out that if he needs more space, that he doesn't take advantage of that, right? So if he says, I need an hour and a half, I don't go bug him during that hour and a half. But if 2 hours have passed, then I have the right to say, hey, what's going on, right? And giving him the space and letting him know he has that space has allowed him to come forward to me more. And he comes to me and he started to see things that he couldn't see when I was running the show all by myself and feeling like I had to run the show all by myself. So I guess what I'm getting at is that these differences are actually beautiful And when you can be comfortable with balancing the dark and light that is within yourself, then you can actually honor the dark and light within someone else. And these combinations can be superpowers. But what I see all over the internet these days is Narcissist-Empath comments that get away from this if a person does this to you. And I've noticed that like a lot of the messages really relate to me, and I've always been empathic. I've always been able to pick up and absorb energy from people all around me. And I saw it as a gift, and I knew I could help people. But I was able to help people that were more like me, that were struggling. But people on the other side of this, I think I pushed them away quite a bit, and not intentionally at all, because I thought this works for this person, so it should work for that person too. But we aren't here to treat somebody the way that we want to be treated. We're here to see what their love language is, to understand how their nervous system works. And then we can share how ours does, and then you work on compromise. I know this is a lot easier said than done. I have gone through many years of failure after failure, hurt, heartache, you name it. But in sitting with Brian and us working together daily now, without even another therapist, just us, one-to-one, with no one in the middle of our relationship, without going to vent about anything to anybody else, but just look each other in the eye, we've had some huge revelations, and I felt closer to him than I have the entire time we've known each other. And I want to be able to help people who believe that they're in some sort of toxic situation and think that there's no hope for it. I am not at all saying stay in an abusive marriage, stay in a relationship where someone is hurting you and there's no point to it. I think you should really take precautions when it's at that point. But if you're just starting out a relationship where you've been in one for a while, where you have the same repeat patterns and it's a push-pull tug-of-war game, no matter which side you're on, understand that there is a place where you can meet in the center. And it takes work, but when you find that, it's the most beautiful relationship that you could ever imagine. It fulfills you in different ways, and you can start to see the sides of that person that maybe you were pushing past because they're in you too. And they can start to open up and branch out and bring their light forward, because you can't just shine a bright flashlight in the dark in someone's eyes and have them open up and see you, right? So all I want to say is that if you're struggling through any kind of relationships, whether it's a parent-child relationship or a romantic partnership or a business partnership, where you feel like the other person is in the wrong because they're different from you, I want you to know that if you can sit and you can go with them in a calm manner and ask them to share their perspective and just really listen, and then ask them if you're able to do the same in return, and then they will listen. It's like magic when you actually provide that first. You set the example first, that you are willing to come down or come up to their level a little bit. Then you can actually build something solid. And I really hope to change some of the terms where it's all about dark and light, black and white thinking, or people calling people narcissists and dismissing them. I feel like it seems like there's a lot more males, because males are just a little bit more reserved in their emotion, that get titled a narcissist. And women walk around with all their emotions on their sleeve and they call themselves empaths. I think this might have been helpful for a little while, but one of the things I really want to work on is helping people get past labels, because whatever diagnosis you get, whatever you label yourself as, you've now boxed yourself in as something. And then you look up all the definitions of it and you're like, yeah, that's me, that's me, that's me. And you're neglecting a huge part of who you are. And I'm still working every day, and I continue to keep working on this every day. But I just want to know that you hear that you are perfectly fine where you are, but you can always grow and you can always be better. And I have to tell myself that every day. Every day that I think I'm right on something or that I'm justified in one of my actions, I sit and I look at myself and I'm like, do I really feel that way, or am I scared of something that's underneath? In doing what I would call shadow work and working through some of the deepest wounds and remembering things from my past that I wish I could not remember still, I was able to look at the patterns that developed through generational things with my family, my parents. And then I've been able to see that as I've worked on them, some of those patterns are still repeating in my daughters. And I want to be able to set an example and work with my daughters so that they don't have to go through the inner child work that I am at 46 years old. If you are struggling with anything along these lines and want some pointers or just some, support, please feel free to reach out to me, because I'm still learning. But if I don't share this with you now where I am and have something I can look back at to see my growth, then, what's the point of the work I'm doing? So please know you're not alone, and that there's nothing wrong with you if you're the type of person who wants to run after somebody and make everything right and hug them and squeeze them and let it all go right away. And there's nothing wrong with you if you're the type that says, get away from me, I'm going to go close myself off in a hole, please leave me alone. But if you want a relationship and you're in those two dynamics of any level, any degree, there is hope for you. But one of you has to be the first one to take accountability and then sit with that person on their level and really see them and try not to push it. Try not to pull someone down, try not to push someone up. Just be with them. At any rate, I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving and are enjoying this lovely weekend wherever you are. And I look forward to, sending you more videos each day.